Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Michaela Word. I'm the content creator behind the KandidKayla.com platform, as well as the Candid Conversations podcast that is hosted by this platform. Here on this corner of the internet, we are all about growing ourselves and ourselves for ourselves through the 8 dimensions of wellness as active participants in our relationship with ourselves, our relationship with God, and our relationship with the world around us. As you can see, I'm outside and I'm going to walk in. And I'm starting this week's vlog off just a little bit different. Today is Monday, the 1st of first of July. And we are starting the second half of the year. First half of the year was a doozy. Second half, we're about to make it do what it do, you know what I'm saying? And so anywho, with that, I just wanted to introduce the vlog and show you that I'm out here getting some exercise in. Nothing too crazy. I'm like 2.5 miles in. I have about another half a mile and I'll be home. So yeah, just wanted to come on and say hello and let's get into a good week. So I think there comes a point in time where we are all trying to learn how to kind of get out of this childish like behavior, right? In terms of these are my friends, blah, 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 whatever have you, within a microcosm, and understanding that people are adults and things like that. And also still trying to navigate our life and building this life as an independent individual. So the difference between like this interpersonal dependence that we all kind of have, but have to learn how to navigate in a very healthy way so that it doesn't become unhealthily dependent, and also allowing ourselves the freedom to learn how to become these individuals. And it leaves us sometimes in these spaces where, as an individual and doing things in life as an individual, we might not necessarily feel like we have the support we once did because we don't live within these microcosms or these interdependent relationships. And I know that this is very different for different people and how it looks, right? Like if I have a church community, it might seem like I can lean on them, but when it comes to more sensitive things like maybe infertility or conflicts within yourself and like not really understanding yourself and your beliefs, I think those can sometimes be criticized when you are within a church space. And so it sometimes gets brushed off as a lack of faith. And so sometimes you don't get those genuine relationships that do help build you up, that do help sit with you in these times when everything around you is kind of falling apart. And so in speaking with my friend yesterday, I just realized that so many of us are being hit from every direction, and I'm not really sure what it is. I don't know if it's God like preparing us for the times that we're in, or allowing us this opportunity to have gratitude, or if it's because we're actively working on our relationships with God and people and wellness and growth, that we're a little more sensitive to being attacked in areas or in areas that are not necessarily aligned with what we perceive to be comfortable. I'm not really sure what it is, but it seems to me like in everybody's lives, we are getting hit in every which way. In terms of like, my relationships are all over the place. My relationship with self is all over the place because I'm trying to deal with the stress of the outside. We're looking at international wars, rumors of wars. We are looking at interpersonal conflicts, not just outside, but within the church. And like when it comes to sexuality and race and gender and like all of the things that are plaguing us in this world. And I heard a pastor preach on Sunday, and he was talking about the power of peace and like understanding that when we have an avenue to speak about these things that we're dealing with, it gives us this peace, right? Because the Bible says that the Lord gives us supernatural peace, peace that surpasses all understanding when we cast our cares on Him. And yes, we have to learn how to do that effectively and leave it there with Him without assuming yes, but at the same time, there's also power in which we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony by being able to speak to each other, whether that be speaking with community, speaking with therapists, speaking with whomever. That ability to be able to audibly get it out, not just to God, but also to these spaces where the burden is kind of
today is Tuesday, the 2nd of July, and I literally have not vlogged all day. It's just been really, really trippy. I feel like this week's vlog is really going to be more of a like weeks of workouts and what I eat in a day kind of situation, more so of like weeks of workouts type of deal. So I've just been like doing a lot of praying and like trying to get my thoughts together this week, and so I don't know how much I can like share or anything like that about everything I have going on. I'm also running around like a chicken with my head cut off, especially with the holiday. Like, I'm really trying to make sure that all of my work is done this week before the holiday, because I'm taking Friday off as well. So just really trying to align everything and make sure everything is taken care of to the highest degree. So with that, you guys did not come to hear that. Today is Tuesday. We are headed to our weightlifting class. I'm so excited, actually. So our Thursday weightlifting class last week got canceled, so I'm really excited about that. Updates on things that spilled over from last week into this week. I guess the biggest thing is just last week I was really having a rough week. I think grief, y'all, just the grief. So a bit of a check-in on how I'm doing in terms of my grief. I was not doing well. Thursday and Friday were like really not good days, like to the point where Thursday I worked from my bed. Friday I got out of bed, but I didn't get out of bed until like 30th. So it's just been a little bit harder than I expected it to be in terms of just reconciling with the fact that like I can't just call him or text him or, you know, show up at my mom's house and see him. Like, so I'm just saying things right now. Context for those who have not watched, I'm walking through a grief journey. My baby brother was hit in a hit and run accident on the 24th of April, and he was killed. And
just because you're going through,
I've just been really struggling with grief and trying to work my way through the grief, and some days are better than others where I can like talk about it and like I understand it and all the things, and then days like Thursday, Friday, even today is Tuesday, like I was crying during date night on Friday. Today is Tuesday, and I literally just got choked up trying to explain to you guys what happened. And like,
but then the other side,
it's just been an interesting journey. So grappling with like the depressive emotions and fighting them, and still choosing to like show up every day and get a workout in and show up every day and really want to be here. Like, not saying that I don't want to be alive, but like living in my reality is very hard in these moments, and it's a whole lot easier to just be like, oh, I'm going to like run away and hide.
but learning how to rise,
working through it, and just trusting God to be there and to really heal the broken places and allow me to move forward. So anyway, what else? Trying to make sure I like get all of the things out of the way. This video is so chaotic, but nonetheless, this week's vlog is really just dedicated to the regular degular. I feel like it's a filler episode. It's really not, but it feels that way because I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to survive my feelings, survive where I'm at in this moment in time, and it's like a lot harder for me to like fight and make sure that I am working towards my goals actively. With that being said, this is the first week of a new quarter and a new half of the year, and usually I'm all about planning and all the things and getting everything right, and I'm just gonna be a week late this quarter, which is so frustrating because like I try to operate on a 12-week year schedule, and so going into the third set of 12 weeks, yeah, I don't have time to plan right now, and I don't even have like the emotional capacity to plan right now, and I think we should really be honest about that, like in the self-help space and all the things, even within the body of Christ as a whole. Like there are moments and times where you're just spent and you don't have anything else to give, and even though God has given you things to nurture, like you have to nurture yourself first. You can't just be the known for the products that you produce when God values who you are as a person, irrespective of whatever you produce. And so productivity is great, it's fine, it's awesome, and I talk about it, and I'm all about all these goals and things that I want for my life and for myself, and that I'm praying for and believing for and all the things. Yeah, that's awesome, but I'm also in a frame of mind and in a space in my life where I have to just make room and make space for me, and to be there for me, and to dust myself off for me. And it's so interesting to me, like I have a handful of really close friends that have been walking with me through this season, but outside of them, it's so interesting to me how just nobody is there, nobody calls, nobody texts, nobody, are you alive, are you okay, nothing. And so yeah, if I don't make space for me, nobody else is going to, and that's been proven based on the relationships that I have in my life. I'm not saying that people aren't good people, everybody's going through their own set of stuff, and so the only person that can make me a priority in this season is me. So with that being said, yeah, we're gonna be a week late on the productivity content. We're gonna be a week late in terms of like putting everything together and making everything work and all the stuff for the coming second half of the year. My current goal for today and probably for the rest of the year is just to survive, because I feel like I'm dying inside every day. Like grief literally feels like you are dying because there is a piece of you that is dead. And so yeah, that's where I'm at. Anyway, on to better and more exciting and not so depressing things. Today's workout is a weightlifting workout. I'm really excited about it. I've been really working on just consistency. So as you saw yesterday, I went on a walk. After I turned the camera off, I actually ran about a mile, and it was good. I felt good until I didn't, because I woke up this morning, my ankle said, hey ho, no. So I'm really really interested to see as I grow and develop how that works out for me. I really wanted to do this run club, and I've been saying for months and months and months and many vlogs that I was going to join this run club that I just haven't joined. And so as a result, I've ended up in a situation where I'm just out of shape as it pertains to running. The ankle is not there, the knees are not giving. You know, we gotta build her back up, help the body realize we got goals. We got triathlons to run, swim, and bike. We have babies to birth one day. We have desires for longevity in terms of mobility and flexibility and all of the things. And so, yeah, I really got to get on it, but I'm just not there yet. Not me getting lost. I'm not lost, but there we go. I'm like, why is the GPS not indicating that I need to get off? So yeah. What else do we have going on this week? What am I studying? Okay, yeah. So I'm really spending this week studying and reading my word as it pertains to cleanliness. What I have learned through a series of events over the weekend is just that my heart needs some cleanliness. All right. I need to clean some things up inside of myself, and I need to really let God go in and gut things out. Like, there are certain things that we need cleaned in our life that are within our locus of control. Some of which being like, okay, I need my room clean. I need to like wash my clothes and that sort of thing. All those types of things are things within our locus of control that God is like, okay, I've given you agency over your body and over your time and over your life. You can do those things. You see what I'm saying? But the things that we need to let God clean out, those are the hard things. Those are the things that don't happen overnight, and they take time and they take effort and they take patience. And I'm just there right now. I am in a season where I'm like, okay, God, there's some things that are popping up in my marriage, popping up in my relationships with other people, or lack thereof, or even in my relationship with myself. And I really want you, Lord, to come in and clean it out. So I've been reading on cleanliness in the Bible, and really from a perspective of like heart cleanliness, holiness, that sort of thing. Because I want to live holy and righteous, but I also know that certain things such as like friendships and relationships with other people are sacred, and they're sacred in terms of like God gives very clear instruction on how we are to treat other people, how we are to love other people, and I want to make sure that I am doing that to the highest degree of myself. So with that, we are pulling up to the gym. I am looking for a parking spot though. I'm trying not to get hit. We're just looking for parking.
Has llegado a tu destino.
Has llegado a tu destino. I literally passed the spot, but I would have to like turn the car around, and I just don't really want to turn the car around. But I think I'm gonna have to. Alright, so workout complete. Back in the car, y'all, and I am sweaty to say the least. Where do I begin? Post workout clarity for today. Sometimes ain't nobody coming to save you. That is my post-workout clarity for the day. Okay, sorry.
Gira a la izquierda y luego gira a la izquierda.
Sometimes nobody's coming to save you. Today's workout was really tough on me. I mean, really tough. Like, at one point my watch just straight up stopped recording the workout, and even with it doing that, I burned 446 calories. So if they in 40 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. So if that gives you no idea whatsoever of just how bad it got me today. Today was rough. Today was rough. Today drained me. My heart was literally in like zone 4 and 5 for 45 minutes straight. And that's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? A girl be tired out here in these streets. And I literally just had like a protein brownie before I came and a mouthful of tomatoes, which sounds like really wild and crazy, and it was wild and crazy, but it's what I had on hand, and I knew I needed to eat something, because if I hadn't even eaten that much, I promise you not, I probably would have fell out. I was lightheaded and I ate that little bit. So yeah, sometimes nobody's coming to save you, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to face the hard, and it's what is necessary for your sanctification process. And as I'm like going through the workouts today, and I'm literally praying like during the workouts, y'all, this little strip right here, every freaking time. Alright, y'all are gonna just have to lean for a little bit, because this little strip right here is just really bumpy, and the mount is so temperamental. So I'm gonna wait till I get on solid ground. Promise you not. The city, I don't know what it is that makes people move to this dreadful city, but this dreadful city, their roads don't be roading, okay? They be bumping and all kinds of stuff. Oh my god, this footage is chaotic. Alright, so I think we're out of the weeds. Let's hope that the mount stays doing what it needs to do. There we go. You're just gonna have to see more of the wheel right now. But I was going through the workout. I just realized that, like, I don't know. I just had this moment. When I parked the car, I parked next to a Kawasaki motorcycle, and that's the kind of motorcycle that my brother drove when he was hit. And yeah, it obviously just makes me feel away. Please hold. We have a bug in the car. Okay. Sprayed him with some alcohol. But yeah, that's the kind of motorcycle that my brother drove. And grief hits you at the weirdest times, to say the least. Like, I could literally be going about my day and see a motorcycle that's similar to my brother's, and grief hits you in that moment, right? And like, my stomach was over here going through some things as I pulled up to the gym today, and I don't know what it was that had me in a chokehold, but my stomach was going through some things. Like, I just felt sick all of a sudden. Just as I'm trying to find parking, I just feel sick out of nowhere. And I honestly believe it's the stress on the body from the grief, but also just from life in general. And anywho, I'm like looking at this bike and I'm like, oh man, I miss my brother, you know what I'm saying? And then I think about the fact that, like, oh yeah, that grief that you momentarily forgot you had is here. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the party. And there is a part of me that, like, doesn't think that I can endure, you know what I'm saying? That's like, Lord, why do I have to go through this? Why am I feeling this in this time when I'm about to work out? Like, I need my strength. I don't need to feel like I'm falling apart inside as I'm about to go engage in a very difficult workout. And as I'm going through this very difficult workout, I'm reminded that literally the instructor for the class is like, you are stronger than you think. You are stronger than you give yourself credit for. When your strength is up, remember that there is still something in the tank. And although I don't think that, the Lord uses anybody or anything, including donkeys, and that's on Bible. And so I just heard the Lord in that moment just tell me, like, where your strength ends is where my strength begins. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. My salvation, like sanctification process of you can only be done through things that do feel achy and hard and that make you wonder, who is going to come and save me? Like, why is this happening to me? Why does this have to happen to me? What have I done, Lord? And then you remember that all of it is according to his will and it's for his glory. And you kind of just take a step back and you're like, thank you, God, for the opportunity to go through this. For myself, God, thank you for the opportunity to experience such a pain, to be able to relate in your suffering. Thank you, Lord, for knowing what it is to lose somebody. Because I am a firm believer that, like, this doesn't even compare to the grief that I believe that the Lord feels when somebody doesn't choose him. Does that make sense? Like, when you have somebody who just doesn't accept the Lord ever and they just fall away, I believe the grief that I experienced does not even compare to that, because my brother loved the Lord. My brother knew the Lord. My brother is going to be with Jesus when he calls home the saints. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have grief in the sense of his soul. I have grief in terms of his earthly nature not being here anymore. And I think that there is something to be said, though, about the fact that, like, no one is coming to save you, because this is a part of the process. This is a part of the journey that leads you to the happily ever after, that leads you to the forever in the arms of the Lord, that leads you in the comfort, in the peace, in the experience, to labor along with Christ, and to experience and to really work out your faith, as the word says, with fear and trembling. Like, truly working out your faith. So that's where I'm at. I'm in a place where I feel like ain't nobody coming to save you. And sometimes you gotta go through those hard things, including a workout that keeps you in zone 4 and 5 for 45 minutes to get to the place where God needs you to be at your healthiest self. Like, this is my first workout of this kind, okay? I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've taken a bunch of these classes. My heart rate has never been quite that as high as it was today. It's gotten close, one class in the past, but never to this extent. Firmly believe it's because this guy just pushes me a little bit harder. And it's like, okay, this is what's going to condition me, though, for childbirth. This is what's going to begin to condition my mind to work harder and to really, like, put mind over matter and to be able to see the end goal over the momentary pain and to not give up. Because there were multiple instances today where I almost gave up. Like, no lie, the mountain climbers, I hate mountain climbers above all other exercises, probably, because my wrist just can't take it. And I did them, you know what I'm saying? And I went and I found a way, and whenever I felt like I was tapping out, hey, is there a modification? Because I'm gonna keep this heart rate up. I'm gonna do something, even if I can't do it to the best degree, or worse, I might not do as many reps, but the reps I give you are gonna be good reps. You know what I'm saying? So just really getting myself conditioned and realizing, hey, ain't nobody coming to save you, girl. You gotta go through it. Can't go around it. You gotta go through it. So anyway, that's my post-workout clarity for today. It's a really long one. But that's what I feel like the Lord is speaking to me in this moment. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for it. So anyway, I am headed home, and I'm probably not vlogging anymore for the rest of the evening, because we've got 2 doggies in our house this week. My mom's service dog and our live-in house puppy. So because of that, I am on double dog duty, and yeah, so I'm probably not vlogging for the rest of the day. I will probably see you guys tomorrow when I'm headed to my cycling class, and tell you guys some more sweet nothings about all the things that I'm learning about the Lord on this here week. Okay, bye. Alright guys, so you can barely see me, because we're still fiddling with the stupid mount. But happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd of July, and I am headed to my cycling class. Baby Jesus. There's so much freaking traffic. I don't even know why. I don't know if I'm gonna make it on time. I really hope I do. It says I'm gonna get there at 6:43. It starts at 6:45. But I guess we'll see how it goes. I'm open to holy interruptions on today. So what's been going on today? I worked all day, and I'm like exhausted, y'all. I don't even know why I'm so freaking tired, but I am. And yeah, it's the last day of work though for the week, for the most part. I have to work for 2 hours on Friday, but when I tell you that's something I'm willing to trade off. I'm willing to trade it off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. What is going on? What are we talking about today on our way to our exercise class? I don't know. I listened to some podcasts today, and I kind of want to talk about them. Just because it's been heavy on my heart before I even watched the podcast, and then I watched the podcast, and I'm like, I feel like I should say something, because I got some things to say. So I don't even know where to start. Was watching some podcasts earlier today, and I was telling my mom that I actually had an incident happen this weekend where I lost my temper a little bit because I just saw something that really, really, really bothered me. And to the point where I had therapy this morning. I talked about it in therapy because I just told my therapist, I just feel like it bothers me so deeply. The predatory behavior on single people just really bugs me, to the point where I used to feel away when it was married people coming for single people, but now I feel even more strongly about single people who are very ill-informed trying to speak to other single people, and it'd be the ones that aren't happy in their singleness, who haven't really had necessary experiences, who'd be the main ones trying to be oh, well, you need to do this, this, and this, right? And I was listening to this podcast today, the In Totality podcast with Megan Ashley. And on there, she had, I want to say her name is Kiana, but she goes by It's Quee or something like that on Instagram. She's a fitness guru person, and she's incredible, and she's super, informative, and talks about her experiences. But she has been married. She's on her 3rd marriage, and she was talking about how the Lord had to purify her during. Oh, wow. I've never seen a Tesla get into an accident. Somebody hit him, though. I feel bad for the other car. But I was just listening to what they had to say, and it really just imprinted so deeply on my heart, because I do feel so strongly. She made a point about saying, all the things that the Lord had to do in her when she was single, to get her to a place of purity and to get her to a place where she could really accept her husband in a healthy way. And I don't know who this is for. I really just feel like I'm saying this to get it off my chest. But please, as a PSA, I just have a few things. As a PSA, first of all, if you are not satisfied in your singleness, please don't give anybody else any advice. Okay, like if you know that you are burning and you're waiting and you're like unsatisfied and unhappy and miserable, please keep that to yourself. Do not tell anybody else what you are doing, because nobody else wants to be unhappy like you. So that's for starters. The second thing is also don't lie about your season that you're in. I think I was listening to another podcast as well the other day, and it's the Between the Walls podcast with Only One Jess and her husband. And I thought that was so good as well, because they were talking about sex, and they were talking about specifically like how to stay pure and stuff when they were dating, and what they wish they would have known sooner and things like that in their relationship. And one of the things that they mentioned that I think is so pertinent here, that I stand behind 10 toes down, is like, you want to make sure that you are in your waiting season and preparing properly. And I think that like so many people want to be like, I'm just waiting on my Boaz or whatever have you, but like you are a hot mess in your dating season. And I don't mean any disrespect, but like all of my friends, everybody I know in my own circle of influence that did not wait properly had really, really tough seasons in their marriage, or are not married anymore, or are married but they're miserable or whatever have you, or had to go through a transformation process in their marriage where the Lord had to redeem some things and scrape some things out and clean some things up, because marriage is not about you. And I think so many people are like, if you ask them why they want to get married, they tell you all the cutesy little things, and it's really just their way of saying without saying outright, because they don't have the emotional intelligence to do so, to say that I just don't want to be lonely. And there are a million other ways to not be lonely in this world than to bring somebody along with you, tie in the government as well as your finances and God, and say, hey, I want you to bless this because we said so. And I just think that's a very detrimental place to walk into a marriage from. And marriage is not about you. It's about God sanctifying the two people in the marriage, and there being a union or a partnership that reflects Christ on earth. And so when you are in your single season and it's all about you and all the things that you want, and all me, and I don't want to be alone, and I deserve, and what this person should give me, or worse, I'm not willing to speak up for myself. I'm just willing to take whatever this person will hand me because I'm lonely and have nothing else going for myself. I don't mean any disrespect when I say that, but like, guys, we have got to treat ourselves with better care. Like, again, I'm not the poster child. I didn't do everything right? But I also am in a very fruitful, whole, and beautiful marriage, because in my single season, I let God do what he needed to do, instead of trying to rush the process or introduce all these different spirits to myself, or really just be wide open for anybody to say anything to me that would influence the things in me that God was trying to cultivate. And I think it's so important that like we remember that marriage is sacred. The act of getting married is sacred, and it's cute and everything, but like staying married, being married, is a reflection of Christ on the earth. So don't be going out here trying to rush the process and do all the things. Like, enjoy the sacred moments when they're supposed to be sacred. And it's not for me to judge whether you do certain things or not. That's not my place. But I will just say, as a PSA, like, please, y'all, allow God to move in his timing, and you accept his timing. Like, if he ain't, because this is a whole nother thing. Everybody's not meant to be married. Everybody's not called to marriage. And sometimes I think we will put words in God's mouth that he never gave. And it's very toxic and draining of you to do as such. It's kind of like Sarah trying to force Abraham to have a baby that God never told him that he was supposed to have. Like, it's not like that. It is that. So please, for the love of God, like, not everybody is called to marriage, and just because you idolize it doesn't mean that God is going to give it to you. And he has to be an ever-present and ever-good, forever giving and honorable God, despite the fact that you might not get what it is that you think that he's supposed to give you. And this is coming from somebody who prayed that her brother would get up, and he did not get up. But let me tell you something. My God is good regardless. God would have been good if I got married, if I didn't get married. God would have been good if I stayed single forever and lived in a 1-bedroom apartment in Newport News forever. Like, God would have been good regardless, because God is good no matter what my circumstances are. And so I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but I'm just here just to say that. Like, and then even more so, before I forget, even more so, like, for those who are holding on to situations and circumstances that God has shown you that is not for you, please stop trying to force the hand of God. Please stop trying to force other human hands. You cannot force anybody to love you or to care about you that does not. And if they don't, please let them go. All right? Like, let it go. Because at the end of the day, you think that, oh, if they were to just love me back, then everything would be great. But if they loved you back, or even acted like they loved you back, and they really, really didn't love you back, you would have a miserable existence, because you would be in a committed relationship with somebody who never wanted you, who isn't going to respect you, and doesn't love you. And it's not cool. So whoever that is for, please take heed. Like, let God be God. Let's not try to force situations that God has not called us to. And let's just learn how to be content in every season. Single, married, with kids, no kids, dog, no dog, house, no house. What other American stereotype is there? Degree, no degree. I don't know. But whatever God has called you to, like, be content in that space. And stop trying to think that things will be better when things are perfectly good right now. And God has called you to enjoy what you have right now. Anyway, I'm going to go in my cycling class, but I apparently needed to get that off my chest because it was pressing, because it really hurts my heart that there are so many people that are not happy, are not whole, and are not experiencing the things of God in the ways that they should. Okay, bye. Hello and good morning, I guess. Today is Friday. The 5th of July 2024, so it's actually been a few days since I vlogged last. I did not do my post-workout clarity or nothing like that on Wednesday because, y'all, let me tell you, that little snippet that you just saw about single people, the Lord brought that up for a reason, because why I go into my cycling class and it was so pertinent for a young lady that was in there. She's over here sharing all her business, and I'm not gonna put her business out there because that's her business, but let's just say that whole singleness shebang was for her. And I was like, Lord, I don't know why this is burning on me so badly, because there is something to be said, y'all. to the young ladies in these streets these days. Like, I have not been single in a while, I guess. And when I tell you guys, like, I don't know how people do it. Like, I've only been married for a little bit, but I sincerely don't know how people do it. Like, I just don't know how people do it. And this changing, ever different climate, listen, I can't speak to what you should do or shouldn't do, like I said in the last clip, but let me tell you something. If you're not happy, if something is stressing you out, that's an indicator that you're not happy. Alright, sorry about that, guys. So where was I don't even know what I was talking about. Probably something that isn't even that important. Oh yes, just single people, y'all, like, live life, please, for the love of God, just live. Figure out what's for you, what's not for you. Learn to love, live in grace. That's it. That's all I got, because I cannot imagine what it is like to try to convince myself that I am happy in something that I am not happy in. So yeah, I do actually. I've been there. And like, your gut be knowing. So if you're not happy, it's not for you. And that's not to say that there won't be tough times, right? Like, there are tough times. There are things that God will, like, move you into in order to shape you and cultivate you and sanctify you. Don't get me wrong, okay? But there's also a certain level of, like, you know when something's not right. Like, your inner being, your inner part of you knows for certain when something is not right. And you need to listen to it and be cognizant of it, because I think that's how we end up in situations where things, like, end up getting super, super messy, because we're not honoring the realest, truest parts of ourselves that tell us, hey, warning signals, big red flashing lights are not yellow. They are red. That's all. So anyway, with that, I did not want to actually talk about that today. I am headed right now to go get my nails done, and I have actually already made it to Newport News. I was, like, on the phone with Mom for an hour. So it's gonna be a nice little situation. I don't know if you can see, we are back to nub status. I literally, like, cut all my nails off out of protest because I just could not deal with them as long as they were. And now I'm going to my nail tech to have her work on my miracle of God to get them looking decent. And what else do we have going on, or that I wanted to discuss? Oh yeah, just that, like, give yourself the space to do what needs to be done in your life. That's what I really wanted to talk about today. So like I said, I did not vlog at all yesterday, but I spent all of yesterday in the bed, the entire day. There was not a part of the day that I did not spend in the bed. I was in the bed. And my whole body was hurting. Like, I had a headache. I just was not feeling well. I think of the 24 hours yesterday, I might have been awake 8 of the 24 hours. And so clearly I am working my body to the bone in the gym, and I am not giving her what she needs in terms of rest and recuperation to get back out there. So this is my second week in a row that I've literally fallen apart on a Thursday. So I think that maybe I might have to start taking a rest day in the middle of the week, and working out maybe Saturdays to recoup or, like, make up for it, or at a minimum just get more sleep during the week. So anyway, I'm working on giving my body, like, the leeway and giving myself the leeway to, like, not be productive, and it'd be okay that I'm not productive. As I mentioned, like, earlier in this vlog, I don't know if I cut it out or what have you, but, like, this is definitely a filler episode of my life. This week is just really all about cleaning up the dirty parts of me, dirty parts of my house, and kind of becoming more efficient in my survival of this very tough season, and listening to those cues, like, okay, I literally could barely walk up the steps yesterday. That is in how much pain I was in and like how fatigued I was. I have 4 flights of stairs just to get to my bedroom. So if you can't walk those steps to get to your bedroom, girl, your body needs a break so that we can do things in the coming days. So it's just kind of where I've been in, just like, okay, I give myself permission to relax and to find space and all of the things. So that's that, and I would encourage you guys to do the same. What else? Oh, we have some really exciting things coming though in next week's vlog. So this is what I really love, okay? Like on these days where I am super tired and worn out and stuff, I feel like the Lord just downloads some of the greatest ideas to me though, because I really have time to just like do nothing and just think. And so I'm super excited about next week's vlog. Like I am really kind of pushing forward toward just doing some things a little bit differently and experiencing things a little bit differently, maybe even shooting things a little bit differently if I can figure out how to maneuver that as well. And yeah, I'm super excited about it. Super excited about it. I'm excited because I feel like God is able to download these like really amazing and super awesome things into me when I just take time to rest. And I'm trying to figure out a way to integrate rest. We spoke about this in the last vlog, but I really do mean it. Like I'm trying to find a way to best integrate rest into my life on a consistent basis without completely checking out for an entire day once a week. And I understand the Sabbath, but I be so tired, y'all, that I can't even make it to church. Like I'm watching church, and I don't really like that. And part of the Sabbath is participating in communal worship. So I'm really in just a place where I'm trying to figure out, and as I figure it out, I'm sure I'll share it. But the other part is really just learning like consistency, and that's really where I'm at right now. Like I want to okay. I am just trying to learn consistency with this vlogging thing, and so although this episode is a little bit more on the boring side, it is definitely, like I said, a filler episode. I am trying not to give up on the habits and the practices of vlogging and talking to the camera and even getting up to date on certain things. Like every single time I pull out the camera is another opportunity to learn things in a new kind of way. So it's the next one. So that's pretty much what this episode of the shebang is all about. Anyway, I am pulling up to my nail tech's house. I'm gonna give y'all the before and the after, and yeah, it's gonna be lit. I will talk to you guys in the next clip. Hello. So yeah, it is Friday afternoon. As you can see, because the mount will not stay up, I am leaving my cycling class and headed back out of the city, headed home. And I wanted to do my post-workout clarity and all of that, but I need to get out of the city first and get away from all these bumps so that my mount can stop falling. So I did order a new mount, just a side note. one that will hopefully hold the phone fairly steady, so that we won't have any more of these issues. We'll see if it works. Okay. Anyway, post-workout clarity, y'all. What did I learn today? Consistency is really boring sometimes. That is what I learned today. My class was actually not boring, but the consistency of things can be boring at times. This is kind of an extension of what I was talking about in the last clip, where like sometimes we feel like parts of our lives are filler episodes, and we have a tendency to treat it as such. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll be really half giving it and half supporting it and all the things, and we forget oftentimes that we forget at times, that keeping ourselves consistent doesn't necessarily look beautiful. It's not necessarily pretty, and oftentimes it's very repetitive. But even in repetition, there's growth, there is expansion, there is pushing past the boundaries. And I was literally like reading something on Instagram yesterday where it was talking about how we as people will either grow or die, right? And it's interesting to me because I believe that biblically speaking as well. I believe that if we are not growing, if we're not consistently like developing into who God has called us to be, we are indeed dying. It says that he will complete a good work in us until the day of Jesus Christ. And I don't believe that we will be able to complete those things if we are not growing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't complete and perfect these things within us if we are staying the same as what we were yesterday. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we have these immediate transformations either. I think that a lot of times we think that character transformations are immediate, but a lot of the suddenlies that we see in scripture have to do with physical changes, not emotional, character, spiritual changes. And as a result of those physical changes came the emotional, mental, spiritual changes as well. So for example, Jacob, as he's becoming Israel, was a long journey for him to learn things like character and integrity and or strong character, I should say, integrity, honesty, faithfulness, trusting and discerning the voice of God. All of those things were internal things. However, the immediate change happened to his body and then happened to his name as a reflection of what happened to his body, as based on what happened over a course of time in his character. And so with that, when we are walking in seasons of like consistency, when it feels like a filler episode, or it feels like, you know, all things are just the same and there's nothing super immaculate or amazing taking place, remember that it's those consistent moments, it's those little things that are chipping away at the big thing over time, and that as we are going through those little things over a course of time, even when it might seem repetitive, God is doing something really, really immaculate, that ultimately in the moment of an instant we could see the physical manifestation of it, and even have a heart, like even have a identity change based on our physical and spiritual and emotional change. But overall, knowing that it takes the consistency of getting in our word and praying and discerning the voice of God and allowing him to clean out the junk in our hearts and to really like shape us and mold us like pieces of clay over time, to make us into a perfect work of art that reflects his glory and that makes us more like him. And so that is my post-workout clarity. That was a lot of words. I really hope it makes sense. But yeah, that is my post-workout clarity for the day. Lots and lots of things. My workout today was good. It felt good. But sometimes it feels like it's more of the same, if that makes sense. Especially like working out with the same instructor multiple times a week. Although I really like the instructor that I saw today. I really, really like her class. Like, I can take her class back to back, because I was taking her on Fridays and Sundays back to back with no problem. But at times it can feel like, oh man, this is just more of the same, but it's not. You are showing up in a different kind of way, even if your situation might seem like it's the same. Your body is changing. Your body is different. The things that are needed from you and needed for you, they might look the same, but they will produce a result in due time. So, yeah. That's my post-workout clarity for today. But I think this is the end of the vlog, guys. It seems really like bleh. And like I said, this week was all about just trying to make it, to be quite honest, and to survive all the feelings of just grief and transition and exhaustion in my body and in my mind. And so the goal of this week's episode was to really fill in the space, but to stay consistent, because ultimately I didn't want to lose the practice of vlogging. I have gotten into a good groove where I've gotten into a good groove where I vlog pretty much Monday through Monday to Saturday, give or take. And I like that groove. I think I'm doing pretty good at being able to like edit things. It doesn't take me very long to edit. Literally just push all my clips together, cut out the pieces that I'm a little iffy about sharing with the world, add in clips of my food or clips of my date like you just saw or whatever, and throw it up there. It's not the best editing, but it's consistent. It's not the best, but it's consistent. And at this point, I am working towards not even progress over perfection, but pushing forward over perfection. So yeah, that's the end of this week's vlog. Thank you guys so much. I really hope that you guys gained something from this, and that you see that everyday life is everyday life, but even in the everyday, it's great. Until next time, bye.